sit back and relax, grab a drink and some snacks, and maybe your favorite coin. The duo are back for a double attack of great chat for the girls and the boys. There's much to debate, so please don't be late, and make sure that you ain't misbehaving. So come sit at this haven, get your glasses a-raisin, as we enjoy this Sunday with Craven. Here is a myth, pour a dram and come sit, as I tell you a tale of this legend. I ponder and quip when I'm trying to think about a topic to speak with new friend. I know he hears me as he stands with his stick, looking like he's on the job. But he never replies as I stand aside to a nonchalant round little John. There's much to debate, so please don't be late, and make sure that you ain't misbehaving. So come sit at this haven, get your glasses a-raisin, as we enjoy this Sunday with Craven.
Oh, that song. I just can't get enough of it. Guys, it's basically 5, so we are now live. Thank you for joining me. We're now on episode 6 of Sundays with Craven. And let me tell you, this is a very special episode. So thank you to everyone that has joined me on the weekly podcast, where we have special guests across the community, and we have a good old chinwag. And this week, as you can see, we've only gone and got straight back from his wedding and honeymoon, the man himself, Cobrastacker, who I'm going to be speaking to very shortly. Now, as you know, we have some questions for him, and also, tradition, we will be doing a giveaway. And let me tell you, and if you trust me here, you really should. This is going to be the juiciest giveaway I have ever been involved in. I can't wait. So definitely stick around for that. So, as you know, what I like to do at the start is say a quick hello and shout out to everyone that has joined before we move on. So, I'm going to try my best to do this because this new phone stand that I've got kind of blocks my screen. So I will try my best. But I want to say hello and thank you to Jumping into Silver, Will's Bullion, Miss Stacking with Craven. I have no idea who that is. Stranger. Jamie Frost, Andy, Dave or JackStack64, BBA, God's Money or Stephen, Ice and Fire, GC Stacks, X20, Scottish Bullion, Calc, Silver Punk, Rex, Ian Attenbury, the world's #1 sniper, Nemo, Baron Bamsky, Robot Toaster, Tridal from Germany, thanks for joining, Luke K1, good to see you, and Silver Machine. So, and Hovis is saying thank you as well, as you can hear. So, yeah, thank you to everyone that has joined. There we go. And it's time to introduce our special guest. So, Cobrastacker.
Hello, brother. I'm good. Thank you so much for having me on your show. It's an absolute pleasure to be here. And for those of you who joined us already, thank you for joining.
Absolutely. No, the pleasure is all mine. It really means so much to me that you have really willingly, I literally asked you fairly last minute. You've had a busy schedule recently, as we all know, and you were just straight up for it. I just asked you, you were like, yeah, 100%. So I really am grateful. And we've had a few talks ahead of this, mate. It's going to be a special one. I can't wait. And yeah, you know why as well. So,
yeah,
as you know, I have sent you a few questions I'd like to do. So you know I've got plenty of questions for you. But tradition is every guest that comes on leaves a question for the next special guest. So as a quick warm-up, I want to give you Nemo's numismatics question from last week's episode. So this is for you, Cobra, and it's from Nemo. And he wants to know, it's not an easy question, but he wants to know, where is it? I did have this. But essentially, if you could have a 5-minute conversation with anyone, past or present, so only 5 minutes, who would it be and what questions would you prioritize given the fact that you only get 5 minutes?
Well, that in itself is the problem because I only get 5 minutes. But it would have to be Stephen Hawking's. I think
Wow,
he's an
okay.
absolute amazing legend of a man with an amazing brain. And I've watched several of his things. I think he brought so much to the world and to humanity with science. The question, I mean, I could have a conversation for weeks with the guy and just chat about loads of stuff. But the question I would really sort of talk to him was, it would be about the chances of life forms in the universe, other life forms apart from on this planet. And I know his views on that, but I'd like to delve into it deeper just to see the reality of the fact that we cannot be the only planet with life in the universe.
Oh, that's such an interesting answer, and it's a topic that I could speak for so long about. I personally, mate, I would love to know what he would say on that. In more information over a private conversation. I
Yeah,
believe, it's described as an infinite universe. We humans can't quite comprehend how big space is, and within that, surely there's got to be extraterrestrial life in whatever form. There has to be, right?
absolutely. Well, if you look at just our galaxy and then the millions and billions of galaxies that there are just in our Milky Way and all that lot, and then you expand it to how many other solar systems, galaxies, and all that there are, the possibility that we are the only planet that could have sustained any form of life just seems impossible.
I completely agree, and I tell you one thing, Cobra. If we collide past another opportunity where I can speak to you about that in more detail, I would love to have that conversation because honestly, it's one of my personal interests. I am fascinated by what potentially is out there. I love all that kind of stuff. I've spent hours
Absolutely.
on YouTube watching that kind of stuff. You can get lost on YouTube, can't you? It's so easy to do.
Absolutely. Without a doubt. Without a doubt.
Yeah, really interesting question. Thank you, Nemo, for that question. And Cobra, great answer. Really great answer. I say this every week, mate. I get away with murder because I'm the one that gets to ask the questions. I don't get put on the spot with them. But really good answer. Fair play. So,
Thank you.
the general order of things that we're going to do on this. So, and for the guys as well in the audience, as you know, I've got some questions I want to ask the Cobra personally. I'm going to start going through them now. We do have a specific segment on the live where myself and Cobra will focus on the chat itself. So if you are commenting throughout, thank you so much. If I miss anything, I do apologize. But just remember, there will be a specific segment where we focus on the chat. So save any specific questions for Cobra or myself for that bit, and I promise you we will work through them. I can't wait to see what you've got to ask and say. But on that note, let's start diving into the questions. Cobra, are you ready for, I'm not going to say a grilling, but are you ready for a game of 20 questions with Craven?
I am. So let's go.
Okay, well, the first thing I want to say to you, mate, and I generally mean this, is congratulations on the wedding. Yeah, and of course, having seen the video on your channel as well, what looked like an amazing honeymoon as well, mate. It was such a great video and captured some lovely moments. It looked like you had an absolute ball of a time, and was great to see. So I'd like to ask on that note, how was the honeymoon? And did you manage to disconnect from stacking for a bit, or did you still have a sneak peek at the markets whilst you were away?
Well, first of all, thank you so much for your congratulations there and for everyone, because the messages I got congratulating me on the wedding and the honeymoon and all that were massive. And I couldn't reply to them all. So in fact, I think I decided not to reply to any of them because it would have been unfair on anyone else. So that was that.
Yeah.
The honeymoon was amazing. The video I made started off at 3.5 hours. You know, when you get all the bits and you put them onto a thing and then you have to edit. It started at 3.5 hours, and I think I brought it down to 13 minutes. And that wasn't even the complete thing. There was so much more that could have gone in there. So
Yeah.
yes, we had an amazing, amazing time. Thailand was absolutely beautiful. I couldn't even get the diving in there because I forgot my dive camera at home. So I couldn't film anything of the dives we did out there, which were superb as well.
Wow.
Um, Absolutely amazing. We the big Buddha, which you might have seen the pictures of there, was closed off totally. because to the public, because they had had an avalanche the year before which killed 13 people. And
Oh
I
God.
wanted to get close to it, so I was very privileged to be able to get a helicopter, and then we flew around it. So yeah, it was superb, absolutely superb. Did I disconnect? Yes, sort of. Um, I promised Mrs. C that I wouldn't be on the phone to all the boys and all that lot and chatting and all that, and I kept that promise. And everyone left me alone, which was really kind, because it was obviously my time with Mrs. C.
Yeah.
But I did sneakily look at my wholesalers and place a few orders because you can't fall behind with that. You know what I mean? There's stuff coming out all the time. Wholesalers have sort of time limits. You have to order within this week, you have to order in 2 days and all that. So I did take sneak peeks on that and place some orders.
I can't blame you, mate. I can't. You committed to the cause. Yeah, fair play. But I mean, you know, I'm sure Mrs. C will have understood. And
She was
yeah,
asleep at that time. I only did it when she was asleep.
it was tactical.
I'm
Yeah,
not that
honestly,
brave, Russ.
no, I don't blame you. But honestly, the video you put up was a beautiful video, mate. You captured so much.
Thanks.
I can imagine there was hours of footage, but the pieces you did show and kindly share with us, it was a lovely watch. And I urge anyone in here, most of you will have probably already seen that, but if you haven't, I recommend you give it a watch. It was a lovely capture from your honeymoon, mate. And specifically on that, something that I took from it, you one of the experiences you did was with a tiger. And I got to be honest, I was on edge when yourself and your wife were taking pictures beside the tiger. How was that experience for you?
All right. Well, I have to be very honest about something. First of all, I want to say we made sure we looked up a place where it was an actual tiger sanctuary. And so the tigers and the lions and everything in there weren't drugged. So they raise these animals from birth and they do it to increase the population, all that lot. So they're hand reared, so they weren't drugged. So that's the first thing I want to say.
That's good.
So anyway, when I told the missus that we were going there, I said, "Oh, we're going to see some lions and tigers and all that sort of stuff." She goes, "Oh, lovely, cool." When we got there, I said, "Okay, look, we've got these options. Which ones do you want to go in with? You got the white lion, the big tiger, medium tiger, small tiger, and cheetah, right?" And she went to me, "What do you mean?" I went, "Well, we're going to go in and stroke them." She goes, "Are you mad?" She goes, "We're not doing that." I said, "Yeah, we are." I said, "You've got to." So it took a little bit of persuading to get the missus to do it. The experience was unbelievable. The cheetah was wide awake, and we're told specific areas on each animal you can touch. So with the cheetah, you could only touch it on the head. You couldn't touch its body or its paws. And with the tiger, you could only touch it on the rear, not further up the body, and definitely not on the head. So the experience was amazing. Mrs. C got in with a cheetah, so I went and did the cheetah first, and then she got in. And you know, we had already said, no matter what, be very calm and walk slowly to and from it. She got up there and she got really scared and she ran, and the cheetah twitched round, and I was like, "Babe, stop." I said, "Just walk back to me." And then she calmed down and she walked back, and she understood. But it was an amazing experience. And to feel that tiger, how big and strong it is, you have no idea when you just see him in a zoo or see him on the TV,
Yeah,
how big and strong these creatures really are.
I
But
can
they weren't
only
me.
imagine.
The one
Um,
that did make my heart beat a bit was the crocodile.
yeah, I mean, you didn't just go near that. It had its mouth open. You touched its nose.
Yes. So I've got this little
Steve Irwin.
weird. I've got this little weird thing with me where I love the buzz and the rush of something like that, and I love the danger of things. And I know people will say, "Well, that's a bit stupid, isn't it, really?" But I've had a good life, so you know. And they asked for a volunteer to go and kiss the crocodile. Now we had already seen the show where they showed the power of that crocodile with its bite force and the speed and all that lot. And so it was actually nerve-wracking to kiss the crocodile on the nose because I knew how quickly it could snap shut. But they
Oh,
told me it was safe, and so I did it.
did you have to sign a one of those letters like to say, look, you know, if anything happens, you're not going to sue them, etc.?
Yes. No, not that I'm not going to sue him. If I die, it's my fault.
Yeah, that kind of thing. But they're probably like, it's all safe. Don't worry. Honestly, I've got so much respect for you. I've got to say, it's one of those things where I would, like, as you've explained now, I'm hearing this thinking I'm kind of similar. I do love a rush. I love doing maybe once in a lifetime opportunities
Yeah.
such as you've gone and done on your honeymoon, mate. That's amazing. I'd probably say back, oh, I'd love to do that. When I get there, I would be very nervous. So my hat goes off to you, and I'm sure now that you can say you've done that, you've got the footage to prove it, and it's a memory for you and Mrs. C. That's amazing, mate. Not many people will get the chance to do that, so that's awesome. It really is.
Thank you. Yeah, it is. It is one of those things with me. It's opportunities you'll never have again, or may never have in the first place. And I think if you feel that you're okay doing it, always get opportunities and always get those memories. But again, every individual's different with that. So you know.
It is. It's all down to the individual, but once again, fair play to you. I don't know if myself and Miss Stacking with Craven will do that, but we'll have to see. It's much easier when you're watching it on a video, but there we go. Now, I'm really glad to hear all those great things. And once again, guys, definitely check out that video if you haven't already. I want to change the topic slightly now, Cobra, and I want to ask you, because you're doing fantastic now. You've obviously got a beautiful collection and stack that we can see some of it showcased on screen right now, which looks amazing, by the way. And you do your auctions every Friday, which I absolutely love, and so do many people throughout the community. It's not just fun. You can pick up some beautiful pieces at great prices. And it's just a great place to be on a Friday. I love taking part in that every week, whether you're a buyer or you're just there to join. It's wonderful. And I urge anyone who hasn't tried it yet, get involved. It's brilliant. But for yourself, mate, I want to go back to the very start. How did you first get into precious metals and stacking? What was the very first moment where you sort of went down this path?
Well, you see, I've worked very, very hard all my life to build any sort of money and all that, but I used to spend it on sports cars, motorbikes, all sorts of things like that. I would spend my money, every room in the house had to have a TV, every room had to have this and that. And, it was just money that was being thrown away, let's say. And I got to a point where I sat there and I thought, well, I haven't worked for anyone as such for a long while now. I've owned my own company, which is a security business. And I thought, well, I haven't got any pensions in place. I haven't got anything like that. I need to start looking at something for as I get older. And seeing the way things happened with my mum, and she needed care and all that, and how much it cost, I thought I really need to start putting things in place. So I started watching YouTube about investing and things like that. And I started seeing videos on gold and silver. And many of you know one of the biggest names in that is Backyard Bullion. And I started watching him and listening to a lot of the stuff by a lot of the people in America as well about, the economy, about fiat currency, why it's no good, why it's really no point having it in the bank, what happens to it, do you really own it, all that sort of stuff. And I thought to myself, well, I need to start saving. This is what I'm going to do. And I started off buying a little bit of gold and silver like everyone out there, and it was mainly the stacking thing. Has to be just Britannia's, has to be just UK coins, etc., etc. And that's what really got me started into gold and silver. Just needing to save and then something to pass on to the kids as well.
Yeah, that's it. It's very much for most people. It certainly is for me. It's a long-term investment. You could call it a hedge against inflation. Maybe with silver, you can call it a savings pot. But I definitely think it's a sensible place to transfer your cash into a hard asset that will look after your wealth long-term more than what cash would sat in a bank account. As we all know, it's as the banks and the governments keep printing more money, it's just depreciating in value. That's just how it is. None of this is financial advice, but that is just what's happening. So I think for anyone, it's an incredibly smart move to get into this. I'm so happy I did. The one consistent thing, Cobra, that most people agree on, I wish I started sooner.
Yeah, 100%.
I love.
And the other thing I want to say is it does change your spending habits. So now I don't even think about, oh, I want to get that car, or oh, I want to get that piece of electronic equipment and all that lot. I just think about how I can put more into gold and silver. So it really
Yeah,
changes the way you spend your money.
it does. It does. I mean, there's so many things that you think I could buy this, or oh, actually, I could. You know, if I want to spend. This is just an example, right? Because Phil, it's a bit of a catch-22 because I do like the odd takeaway, right? But if you have a takeaway, say it costs 40 quid,
Yeah,
sometimes you're in that position where you're thinking in your head, do I spend 40 quid on a takeaway, or do I buy a nice 1 ounce, premium silver bullion piece or something?
yeah,
You do have those thought processes. You're absolutely right. I do now as
yeah.
well.
And it's not a thing of not enjoying yourself. If you can afford to go and have that take, go and have that takeaway. You don't have to, just wipe out everything you do in life just to get gold and silver. But it automatically changes your spending habits. That just happens.
Yeah, 100%. And I'd like to get on to shortly. I've got a few questions first, but I'll be really interested. I've got a few questions for you, in a short while about silver and gold and comparing the two. So I'm excited to hear your stance on that. But you've obviously picked up your pieces, you've built your collection, but also you've grown and you've started with the auctions for quite a while now, which is going so well. What made you decide to start hosting auctions? You've told us a bit there about how you got into originally purchasing. Are you thinking about retirement? You're thinking about having a pension in place. You mentioned all those things. But what made you decide to start actually hosting auctions and becoming a seller?
Well, the thing was, I started the YouTube channel, let's say, first, and I started doing the videos again, like a lot of creators do. And that was really to give myself a hobby and something to do. I was looking at retiring. I was supposed to retire actually at the end of last year, which didn't happen, but that's other reasons for that.
Yeah.
So first it started with the videos and the YouTube, and that was like, well, if I retire, I don't want to be sitting around doing nothing, getting bored. And my life has always been active with work, and I needed something to keep me occupied. So I started the YouTube videos, and on that, as I built my collection, I was doing videos on some of the pieces I was getting in. And at that time, there was very little shown of collectible silver and gold. And I'm talking about things like, let's say, this Wonka bar, a 5 ounce Wonka bar. It's absolutely amazing, pure silver. And people in this country really hadn't seen this sort of stuff. So as I was doing these videos, a lot of people were saying, well, can you get another one? Can you get me one? Can you get me one? And I thought, well, if I start an auction, I can get a few pieces. I can introduce this into the UK market, giving us a bigger audience in the UK market and people collecting these, and show things that have never been seen before in the UK. And so I started the auctions because I had so much interest by people in, can you get me one of these? Can you get me one of these? And it started actually once a month. There was a show once a month, and it was a bit of bullion and a bit of collectibles, and it was just great fun. Well, it was so busy that my lives were going for 6 hours, 7 hours at a time, and it was
Wow.
so busy. I thought, I've got to do another one, so I did it every fortnight. And even fortnightly, those auctions were running for 6, 7 hours, and it wasn't enough time. So it was just increasing and increasing. It was like, it was supposed to be a hobby. That was all it was going to be. And it increased to a level where I had to go weekly. And even now, you can see those weekly ones are busy, and there's loads of stuff, and it's just a buzz. And it was, back in the day, there was no community formed as such. And myself, 365, the Stack Collector, Andy, CPM, there was about 6 or 7 of us, and we were building a community within us. And we worked very closely and supported each other, about 6 or 7 creators. And then each of us developed something. Like the Stack Collector has got his lives on a Friday, and that's been going on
Yeah.
ages. 365 started Stacker Social. I started the auctions. CPM started the What podcast, and he was doing Whiskey Wednesdays. So, as I say, 5, 6, 7 of us, and we each started developing things that we wouldn't step on each other's toes with the day we were doing things. We'd talk to each other and find out who was doing what. And we started building this whole thing where everyone could talk to each other and discuss things and do things. And that's how this community built. And that's why the auction started. And as I say, it started purely as a hobby. But unfortunately, when you're selling something, once you hit certain levels, you have to turn it into a business. You have to go limited company. You have to go VAT registered. You have to do certain things, and you have no choice. So it has become a business, but really, it's through my love of all this stuff and bringing it to the attention of people in the UK who haven't always had it. Now it's expanding a lot anyway.
100%. I think what an amazing answer that was. I kind of sometimes just listening to you, mate, I just get a bit lost listening. It's fantastic to hear the story from start, talking about the growth of Stacker Social, which we now all know and love. And thank you to all the people at the start that have created such a wonderful community. I'm pretty sure I have a conversation with somebody in this community every single day. And it's nothing but positivity and people just being so happy to be a part of it. With what you've done on your journey, it's a case of at that particular moment where you started it as a hobby, it was a case of you were sourcing these fantastic pieces and there was a supply there and there was demand. And I feel like you took that opportunity. And what's great about it is you went in because you enjoy it. And now it's a win-win because you've scaled a business from it, which is fantastic. But also it's a win-win because the people that join those auctions that you do, and I'm one of them, it's not just an auction where you can get great prices, so you're happy. It's also a real laugh as well. It's a lot of fun. I love the way you go about it. And what I will say is, you mentioned your love for it. Your passion shines through, mate. And I can tell. I hear you say it on some of your auctions. You'll have like your prices prepared. Sorry, say like a piece you were maybe looking to sell for 42, and you'll say, "Oh, do you know what, guys? I'm going to do it for 40." And I love that. I can really tell that. Similar to TSC with what he does, you're happy, as long as even if you've covered what you've paid and there's a small margin of profit. I do think there's only small margins in this, but yourself,
Very
TSC,
small.
there's others as well. You're just happy to see people get a great deal, and I love that, and that's it's so good to see. And I love what you're doing, mate. And honestly, I know you were away doing what you were doing, which is fantastic with the wedding and the honeymoon. But I'm so glad that you're back on a Friday. I really am.
It was amazing the amount of messages I got. Look, there's a limit to this honeymoon, right? You need to come back. Look, we come before the missus, like all jokingly, you know what I mean? And I was in stitches with some of the messages, you know what I mean? It was like, right, get back now. I'm getting withdrawal symptoms, you know what I mean? I was like, wow. But it was really nice because it gives you a real boost, bruv, to know that people actually appreciate what you do and the amount of work you put in, and it means something to them, and that's very important.
It is, and I want to give credit to Andy CPM as well, because when you were gone, there was a gap on a Friday. People didn't know what to do with themselves, and Andy took the initiative and hosted a live for a couple of weeks, which was fantastic, and everyone got involved, and people had something to, it's the engagement, it's that catch up within the community that we all love. And you're right, if we don't have it in some form, we do get withdrawal symptoms. So I do want to say, yeah, thanks to Andy for doing that whilst you were away, because I certainly enjoyed that, and I know a lot of other people did, and a lot of other people will also say that. Yeah, I'm really glad that you're back, Cobra.
Yeah, and I've got to say, CPM Andy is one of my closest friends in the community. Well, he is my closest friend in the community, simple as. And he's such a support in so many ways. So when he told me he had jumped on, I was really chuffed. I thought, go on, my bro. So yeah, he's a great guy. Great guy.
100%. I've had the pleasure of being on quite a few now, a few live calls with Andy, and it's always a pleasure. You get to have a real out of the box conversation. And two things on that, Andy. I can't wait to go on the What podcast, mate, and I can't wait for you to come on here and let me grill you with some out of the box questions. It'll be great to hear more about your story. So yeah, wonderful stuff. But I love hearing about the auction stuff. I want to know a bit more detail about the auctions, Cobra. So when it comes to the pieces that that you're picking, that you're purchasing from wholesale to sell on to customers like myself, how do you choose which pieces you're going to auction off, and do you ever get emotionally attached to certain items?
That's actually a brilliant question. It started off, I was picking pieces that I enjoyed and I liked. And that's really, to be very honest, that's still the way I do it now. But I have learned a lot. It's been a year and a half, nearly 2 years of doing the auctions now. And I've learned a lot of what people like and what people don't like and all that. And don't get me wrong, I still make mistakes and I'll order something which just doesn't go. But really, I try and judge it on what I would like, or I think about what the whole of the community would like. So, big things that people have an interest in, whether it be animals or whether it be Marvel or whether it be something which a lot of people would like, and then I'll pick my items like that. Or I have friends in the community who often call me up and say, did you know, let's say Pamp is releasing something new, it's going to be a real stunning piece, so I'll get friends who will keep me informed of what's going on. My wholesalers will send me lists all the time of what's new coming out, and I'll go through it. And I'm very specific on what I choose now. Do I get attached, bro? You don't understand. I don't know how many of you saw my last auction on Friday, and I actually had CPM. He gave me the honour of coming down there for the day, spending the day with me, and then he stayed for the auction and helped out. And while we're doing the auction, I'd have a piece and I'd be looking at it and I'd say, right, I've got 10 of these and I'm doing it, buy it now. And then I'd go, actually, I've got 9. And I'd pass it to CPM and say, put it in a pile over there. Because I keep sort of going, I've got to have it. I haven't got that one. I need that one. And so my stack has just grown and grown and grown, but I do have to pay for it because it's a limited company now. I actually have to pay for it. So it cost me a bloody fortune because I keep nicking my stock. I'm probably the worst drug dealer that could ever be out there because I'd be taking all my drugs. Do you know what I mean? It's terrible. I'm not a drug dealer, by the way. I was just saying that as a comparison.
Oh,
But it's terrible. I do. I just keep grabbing pieces, go, well, I've got to have one, haven't I? So yes, I get attached. I do grab hold of things, and I've got a massive stack because of that.
that's lovely, mate. I love your honesty there. That's very authentic. I appreciate you telling the truth. And the reason I asked that question is because I'm in a situation where I'm saving for a gold sovereign, right? Since I started, I've picked up a fair few ounces of silver and some of the pre-decimal stuff as well. A nice variety, I would say, for a new stacker, which I still am. I only started in April. But when I went through a stage where I thought of either trading my silver for some gold or selling, I was looking through the pieces thinking, oh no, I don't want to sell that because, you do get emotionally attached to certain pieces. You really, really do. So, yeah, it's interesting. And I will say, definitely, on your auctions, I have heard you say, guys, I've got 10 of these. No, 1 sec. No, I've got 9. No, I've got 8.
It's
But I
terrible,
love that,
bro.
mate.
It's terrible. And look, the thing is, what you said just then is the same for all of us. I guarantee you. Yeah, you think, oh, I need to sell a bit to buy something else, right? And you go through it, and you know why it's so hard? Because in general, you're buying things that you like. So when it comes to
Yeah.
selling it, you don't want to sell it because you like it. That's why you bought it in the first place.
100%.
So
That's it. And I think more than anything, we talk about the investment side, what's maybe better to buy, we talk about premiums, all of that stuff. But I think it's very important because I class it as, yes, the investment, but it's a hobby, right? We love it. It's
yes,
fun. Buy designs that you like. I love, when I
absolutely.
look through my stack, I love thinking, oh, do you know what? That's just beautiful. And sometimes you buy a piece because you want it. The price isn't always everything. And for me, I've definitely done that with certain pieces. An ounce is an ounce. 1 ounce of silver might be 45, one might be 35. But the reason being is because you wanted that design. And that's what's special.
I absolutely agree, bro. But you have to, you see, your mind, the way your mind works on this will change as you go along with time. And it did with me and it did with a lot of people. So at first, when you get into this, it's Britannia's, they're probably the cheapest, or, whatever it may be, the cheapest amount of, cheapest silver that you can buy to stack, right? That's how we think. And then when we look at a piece which is 42 or 45 pounds for a 1 ounce silver, you're like, oh, but that's a bit high and all that. Don't forget, guys, those pieces in general, not always, in general, hold their value because they are a premium piece. More work has gone into it, or the artwork, or it's a bit special, or the mintage is lower. There's many reasons. So when it comes to sell, you can add that premium back on. And even with collectibles in general, they could be roughly £100 an ounce. And people think, well, that's way too much. But when you start understanding the work that goes into it by the mints, the mintages and how they work, how popular the mint is that's putting it out there are many reasons that affect it. It's the same as buying a Ford Escort compared to a Lamborghini. You'll always
Great
get that
example.
premium back.
I think one of the most commonly discussed pieces you can pick up within the community where premium is the topic is the 1 gram gold bars, and there's a massive premium on them. But what you've just explained there is a very relevant and fantastic answer to why, if you haven't got any gold, it could, once again, not advised in any way, but it could be a
Yeah,
good
yeah,
option as an entry level, because for all those reasons, that's why there's a premium. And if you're paying a premium for a piece of gold, when it comes to sell, like you said, Cobra, that premium should hold its weight in gold. Pardon the pun, but it's catch
absolutely.
22.
Yeah, you're never going to get it. I mean, look, if you're selling to a dealer, as in Charles and Atkinson's, and I have a lot of respect for them, by the way, you are going to get spot price or slightly under, right? But on the secondary market, to the community that you're selling to, if I bought a 1 gram gold for £95, I'll be able to sell it for £95. Or in a year or two, as gold goes up, £100, 105, 110.
Yeah,
You will get that money back. So you're never going to buy it at spot. Spot is raw silver or gold. That's not what you're buying. You're buying a processed bit of silver or gold.
yeah. It's worth knowing that as well. It's a really good point to make. We're moving on to, it's still about your auctions because I'm fascinated. I want the behind the scenes here, Cobra. If you can give us a bit behind the scenes, and what I'd like to know, if you can, is what does, because I just want to say, and a lot of people mention this, I know how hard you work. I've not been there physically,
Thank
but
you.
so many people, and I can see it just through my own time being around your auctions and having spoke to you as well. I know how hard you work, but a lot of people do credit that to you as well. I'd like to know, what does a typical day look like for you when you're prepping for an auction? What's the stuff that we don't get to see beforehand that's off camera?
Well, it's very odd because it's not a day; it's the whole week, and that's alongside running the security company. So let's say from the minute an auction finishes, I'm starting preparing for the next auction. So it's placing orders with wholesalers. It's keeping an eye on spot price for gold and silver and trying to place at the right times. It's keeping an eye on what's coming out in the future and making sure I have orders placed for that. And then as the stuff starts to come in, you have to process it all. So one, unless it is a very trusted place that I bought it for and all that, I have to test the gold and silver to make sure it is real, because the last thing I'd ever want is to send out something that weren't.
Yeah.
Then I have to put it into an inventory on the computer so that I've got it all listed with all the prices I've paid and what I have to charge. Then I have to organise it into a way that it's easy to access before the actual auction. And then I can get deliveries coming in on the day of the auction. So on Friday, I actually had the 20 boxes of the Art of DC comic trading coins coming in. And I was at home waiting for that delivery. And unfortunately, I had to leave to come down to the office. And the delivery came about an hour later, which was a pain because now on Monday morning I've got to shoot. Yeah, I've got to shoot down to UPS and pick it up. But if I had picked that up, I would have had to process that. So there's so much that goes into it, and it takes a week. You literally finish one, and then you're getting ready for the next one. And then there's everything from processing the orders, packaging them. So I finish an auction, let's say 10:30, 11, 12 o'clock at night, depending on how long it goes on for. And I'm up for another 4 or 5 hours packing immediately because I know what it's like to wait for a package. So I'm not one of these that will go, well, I'll do it in a couple of days or I'll have a break now. I pack it straight away. And that morning at 7 o'clock in the morning, I'm down at my local post office, which opens early because it's a shop and post office. And I send it all out. By Monday, 1 o'clock, everyone should have their stuff. So yeah,
When
there's a long process.
No,
Okay.
I didn't prepare this question, Cobra, but I would just like to ask: when do you make time for a nap?
I don't. I grab a little bit here and there. I averagely sleep 3 hours a day. Average. That's
God,
the actual sleep I get. And if I can grab a little nap here and there, then yeah, I do. But 3 hours a day is my normal sleep.
you work so hard, mate, and I'm offering you a virtual handshake, genuinely
Thank you.
for what you do. And yeah, look, when I built, one thing I love about your auctions, I'd like to say, a lot of people know about, is you offer the option for people to to box it up and build. I did that. I had my first, I joined a fair few auctions, but I built it up each time. I got over 10 ounces from you, which was in a lovely package. And from the moment I said to you, can I have it, shipped, it came rapid fire. And I know that there was a lot of other people, because it was right before you did go away on your honeymoon. So I know at that point you probably had a lot of people saying, "Oh, actually, I'll get it now." So you must have been up
Yeah.
for hours doing that, honestly.
Yeah. But
So,
look, people are trusting me with their money when they box. They're buying a bit, and remember, not everyone can afford to buy loads. So some people just buy one piece of bullion a week, or one or two, and then you don't want it posted out every time with anywhere between £4 and £10 postage just for
no,
one coin. Do you know, it's ridiculous. And so that's why I did the boxing bit, so you can build it up and then pay the same postage when you've got 10 ounces sitting there and get the whole lot in one go. But I also have to keep in mind that's people's hard-earned money, and they're trusting me to hold their stuff. So as you said, the minute you ask me to send it, it will be sent.
yeah, 100%. I think that's a great point to make, and I love that you do that. You really do look after us all, Cobra. So to credit to you, mate. And like I say, I absolutely love the way you go about things, and I also love the pyramid that you do. I find that very exciting as well. I've had a few goes on it. I think I've had about 4 attempts. Haven't won it yet, but I'm not giving up. One day, just the same as the duck races that TSC does. One day I will win. Mark my words.
But I absolutely love that pyramid. And the reason I do is we've had some, I say little wins, but they're not little wins. We've had little wins of £300, £400 worth of silver. But the average wins now are sort of 800 to £1,000. And I
Yeah, no
just get
joke.
a buzz out of the fact of £1,000 of silver gets won by someone out of that pyramid. So every week I add an ounce of silver into it, every single auction. And then as it builds, other people will sort of have a spin by adding an ounce in, or we do a free spin every night, every auction. And then other people, if you donate to the pyramid, you can get a spin as well. And when someone won just over £1,000 worth of silver in it, I was buzzing,
Oh,
absolutely buzzing. It felt so good.
that is amazing, and you really don't see that kind of thing anywhere else. Not that I'm aware of, not to that level. So yeah, I also love the pyramid, and I would love it especially more if that spinny wheel just slowed down a bit quicker. But like I say, it's great fun, and I love it, mate. I'm going to move on to another question for you. You spoke before about emotional attachment, right? So this is, I guess,
Mm.
along those lines again, but a bit more specific. What I'd like to know, Cobra, what's the one piece that you own that you would never sell, no matter how high silver or gold goes? What would that piece be?
All right, look, it's a really hard thing to say, because to say I would never sell would be very silly. And I'll tell you why. Because unfortunately, we have to rely on fiat currency. Now, my best piece, or the piece I love the most, and a lot of people know it, is that one there. It is the 1 ounce gold completer. I absolutely love this. And I have the whole collection up there of all the Queen beasts in 1 ounce gold. So, it would be very hard for me to sell that collection, especially the 1 ounce gold completer. Extremely hard. But I have to be
Yeah,
very honest. If you turn around to me right now and said, look, I'll give you £500,000 for it, I'm not going to be that stupid to say no.
I get
It's
it. Yeah,
really as
100%.
simple as that.
It's circumstantial. It's a fair answer. The most you think, oh, I would probably never sell this, but there's always a price, right? For
There's
anything, there's always a
always a
price.
price, bro. Yeah, always.
Um,
And this is the thing. It's, look, as I say, you've got to think about what you can use the money for and where it can be invested better and all the rest of it. But as I say, that gold completer is my favourite piece, and it would have to be a very special price to let me give that away, or sell it. Absolutely.
Yeah, 100%. It's a beautiful piece, by the way. It looks fantastic, and thank you for showing us that. I think I know the answer to this question, mate, just based on your backdrop and a bit about what you spoke about. But do you prefer silver or gold, and why?
Yeah, you're correct. I absolutely prefer gold. I love silver as well. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I could put a collection out here of silver that you'd think, wow, he loves his silver more than gold. Look, gold to me is the more secure out of the two. All right. When you're collecting in the way of investment and all that lot, for me personally, and again, not financial advice, gold is the better out of the two. And the reasons for it is we see on average an increase of 10% per year on average. Well, in the last year, we saw a good 60%. We're already 24% up this year.
Yeah,
So
it's
there's a
crazy.
lot more value. How much?
I was
So,
just saying it's crazy, the volatility of
yeah,
gold. I just agree with you. It's crazy, mate.
yeah. So I love gold. I feel a lot more secure with it. I also love silver, but not to the same extent. Now, the growth in silver is actually quite good. When I started, off the top of my head, silver was about £17 an ounce. And now we're at about £26 an ounce. So that is phenomenal growth for silver as well. But it's a very slow process. And we also see very large drops in silver at the same time. So we get good pickups on it and big drops on it as well. And we have seen in the past, if you look at the 70s to the 90s, a massive increase in silver. And then it dropped right down to the price of 20 years prior in the 70s. So a lot more volatile in silver. Now, people talk about silver hitting into the triple or even quadruple digits. I think you have to be realistic with it and understand what it's used for in the way of its uses in industry. Now, if it went up into triple figures or quadruple figures, like some people talk about, you would have a phenomenal rate of inflation on everything we buy because silver is used so much in it. They can't let that happen. I mean,
No.
what inflation we suffer at the moment is bad enough. But if you tripled or quadrupled the price of silver, you would not manage fiat currency through that with inflation. We'd have a major problem. So that's why silver, for me, is exactly that. It's a good savings pot. Whack it in there. You're pretty certain to hold its value or increase a little bit. But gold, I actually feel you will increase substantially more over time.
I think that's a brilliant answer. In the short time that I've been in this space, I mentioned it at the start. I don't own any gold yet, but my gut feeling is that silver is more or less a good savings pot, whereas gold is potentially more the investment choice if you can afford
Yeah.
it. And I think it's worth saying as well, buy what you can afford. You reiterate that on all of your
All
auctions.
the
I
time.
commented the other night. You had some beautiful, the swords, the battle axes. I think is it Oriel's
Yes.
sword.
Yeah.
And look, I'm sat there thinking I've got the money in my bank. I really
Yeah.
want it, but I know it's not the right thing. And I commented saying Cobra because you were about to move on to the next. You had a few left. Some people had bought some. You're
Yeah.
like, does anyone else want one before we move on? And I thought I'm just going to let you know. I really do want one, but it's a bit out of my budget. And I think it's good that people are disciplined with that. If you are a stacker and you're consistent, work within your budget, the stack will do its work for you over time. I think it's an
It
important message.
absolutely will. You're spot on there, bruv. You know, look, we're all at different levels in our lives. Yeah. If I literally, if I go back 6 or 7 years, I couldn't be doing what I'm doing now. Right. I was still at that stage of grafting and buying stuff and paying my bills and all the rest of it. And when you're younger and you have a family and you've just bought a house and you've got a mortgage and all the rest of it, you can't afford to spend the way I can now, where I'm older and nearly at the point of retirement and mortgage is mostly paid off and this and that and the other. It's a very different game and things will come in time. Be patient. It's my biggest and best advice. Be patient. As long as you're buying a little bit what you can afford every week or every month, you're good. And your circumstances will change and the way you buy will change as you can.
Very wise words, Cobra, and that's what I love about this community. There's such a mix of people at different stages. As I mentioned a lot, I started in April, so I'm a very new stacker. I'm learning every day. Get to have conversations with the likes of yourself. I can't name everyone here, guys. Sorry if it doesn't do justice, but I've spoke to God knows how many people who have been stacking for 20, 30, 40 years who are happy to share their experience. You learn so much, and everyone's at different points. And I think it's very nice that we
Yeah.
can all, in a supportive, really nice cultured community, have conversations at different stages. I think it's lovely and I'm proud to be a part of it. So thank you for that answer, Cobra. And on the point of the market, so the volatility, what's happening, I love what you said there, but I would like to ask a follow-up question of how do you see the silver and gold market shaping up for the rest of the year?
Well, you've got to look at what's going on in the world. It's not just about gold and silver. It's about stocks and shares. It's about wars. It's about politics. It's everything out there affects gold and silver. So if you look at, for instance, the wars that are going on, every time there's wars and the markets feel unsafe, people run to a safe asset, and your safe asset is gold. And so they come out of the stock market, they come out of the high risk type of investments, and they just put it into gold and silver. And when the market feels more secure, things are settling. Let's say when Trump came in and they said, oh, he's going to stop this war, he's going to stop that war, this, that, and the other. There was a little bit more confidence, and you'll see people take their money and they'll put it on the stock market or in crypto, and they'll take it out of gold a bit. And that's when you'll see a slight drop. So it's really about being aware of what's going on in the world. And the way I see it at the moment, we're not in the greatest situation. And
No.
it's about the economy and them having to run another print, and the US dollar being the world sort of trading monetary value at the moment. That's what we've got to look at, and they are going to have to print again soon. And the minute those printers roll, you are going to see inflation go up again and gold go up again. So to me, within this year, I think we'll see slightly more increases in gold. We have had a big boost. It settled down, went down to 2,300 recently, and then popped up again. And that's where you can see its stability. It's still popping up to 24.5, 2,500. So we're solid, and we'll see an increase in that. Silver, we've already seen an increase. We're up to 26 plus on that. And that was at 23 only recently. So that I think will stabilize around that and maybe go a little bit more. There is scope and there is room for silver to move up to easily 30 to 35 within the next year, I'd say, with everything that's going on. I don't see it going into triple figures personally, and I have seen the videos on YouTube of it's going to hit 300, 200. I've seen them for 4 or 5 years. So, it hasn't happened in all that time, and we'll keep seeing those videos. And you must understand, people who put that rhetoric out there have got an agenda. They're either sellers or they're in with sellers or whatever else, and that's their agenda. So me personally, gold, I see it increasing a bit more, maybe 26, 26.50 by the end of the year. Silver, maybe 30, maybe stable at 26, 27 pound.
Yeah, I think all the things you mentioned there, really good answer once again, Cobra. I love listening to your points and the way you explain it, and the knowledge that you've got. One thing's for sure, I'm excited to see which way it goes. And for someone that's looking to get their first gold piece, such as me, I want to get on the gold ladder with a gold sovereign. I just hope that I can purchase that before gold surges. I think it's inevitable it will again. The graphs of history show it will continue to go up over time, but it's just when, and hopefully I can buy during a dip, such as Nemo did recently with his first gold sovereign. So congratulations on that pickup, mate. Yeah.
Yeah, I will say though, never fear the price of gold. A lot of people say, well, it's way too high now, there's no point buying it. Yeah, but it's going to go higher, and it will go higher over time. So yes, it's absolutely true. It's very hard now for people to buy a 1 ounce gold, for instance, but you can still buy a 1 gram, a 5 gram, a 1/10, a sovereign. There are so many ways to buy gold. You don't have to buy a big, massive piece that you can't afford. But don't fear the price of gold.
Yeah, well, I think if we look at history, it's a good point you've made, because although you might think, oh, gold was 100 quid less an ounce last week, or whatever it was, it's expensive today. Well, if you don't buy, potentially in a month's time, you could be thinking, why didn't I buy? Because on that day, that was actually a cheap price. I just didn't know it yet. So what's the best time to buy gold? Potentially now. It's just down to if it's affordable in that moment. It's a calculated risk, but once again, gold is a safe-ish investment. Like you said, it's a hard asset, and when the economics within the world that's going on it causes financial uncertainty, as you really well explained, mate. a lot of people are looking to invest in these hard assets such as gold. So yeah, I would like to own some gold, and my eyes keep looking at your backdrop, and I'm like, oh God, I'm drooling, Cobra. I'm drooling.
The cheapest 1 ounce gold that I bought was 1,480. And at that time I thought, bloody hell, that's a lot of money.
Yeah.
Look at it now.
Yeah, it's going to be double that in a few more years potentially.
Right.
So
I
you'll be
mean, we're
laughing.
already at 2.5, you know, on pieces of 1 ounce gold, 2.5. And I bought at 1.5, let's say. So
Yeah.
look, it will go up just steadily over time. Don't buy it and think it's going to go up tomorrow and I'll sell it tomorrow. That's not the way to do it. Just buy it and hold it, and you'll do okay.
Well said, mate. Well said. I just want to say a quick thing to the audience here. I hope you're enjoying this episode as much as I am. I am loving listening to Cobra's answers. I am having so much fun with this. But I want to just give you a heads up. I've got 2 or 3 more questions for Cobra. So I want you to get your brains thinking about any potential questions that you would like to ask Cobra, because in 10 minutes or so, when we finish the last few questions, we're going to move over and focus on you guys in the chat. Want to hear what you've got to say. Any questions for Cobra or me for that matter, we're going to answer them. So thank you for being patient. If you have put anything in that we've missed, we've been having a good old chinwag, as you know. That's what we like to do here. But your chance will be soon. We'll move on to the chat. So I've got a few more questions, Cobra. Is that okay?
Absolutely. Carry on.
Okay, mate. So I'm saving one that I can't wait to ask till last. We're going to end on a bit of a high. I think but yeah, I'm going to ask you because there's a lot of positives, and obviously you've had a successful growth. What started with a hobby and has moved into a scalable business and a success, alongside running a security company. That's very impressive and a credit to the work that you put in as an individual. But as we all know, and you'll know better than most with the work you do, it's not always plain sailing. So I'd like to dig a bit further here with this question, if you don't mind. And I'd like to know, have you ever had a moment, Cobra, where you thought about walking away from the content? You obviously got your YouTube channel and also the auctions as well. And what kept you going?
Yeah. I mean, let me tell you, there's not been one moment. There's been many moments where I thought, I've had enough. I'm done. And for several reasons as well. And one of the as I said, me and CPM have become very close friends, or Andy have become very close friends. And that's because we had conversations at night, which went on for hours, about exactly subjects like that, where we were disheartened or whatever. Look, first, as a creator, I'm going to say to anyone who's starting out, it's a hard graft, but stick with it. There are going to be times when you think, I don't even know what video to do now. I'm just fed up. I can't think of anything. My mind's gone blank. I promise you it'll come back, and I promise you'll be able to make another video. Or you'll notice that you're making videos and you're not getting massive amounts of views. Relax, chill. I promise you, as your subs go up, as people get to know you more and all that lot, they'll even go back and start watching some of your old videos, right? But these things can be very frustrating at times and make you feel like, oh, I've had enough. Or you may even get comments sometimes that are really like, did you need to say that? Did you really need to be that cruel about something? I'm not saying they were really cruel to me or anything like that, but I'm just saying you may get a comment that makes you think, what the hell? Ignore it. Ignore it. It really don't matter. And then work will keep you busy and you think, I haven't got time for this. Or the missus might get frustrated that, oh, you're always trying to make videos. And I know you may be doing something to try and build something for your future or for your family's future, but it's not always understood by the family. So there are so many reasons why you may feel disheartened or feel like, I can't be bothered with this no more, even in the way of making content. And if you enjoy it, and it's your family must come first, that's very, very important. So if it's really causing a problem, maybe take a step back and do less videos or spend less time on it, but carry on. Do push yourself and do carry on. I promise you it's worth it in the end. As far as the auctions go, to be very honest, I have never felt like I don't want to do the auctions. I love doing the auctions. For me, when I get a box of goodies come in, it's like Christmas opening up those boxes. As I say, it's not a business for me as such. I love it. And I love getting the community all together on one day a week and having a laugh with them and having a buzz. Don't get me wrong, there has been days where I've had to go out and work security and literally run home and get the auction going. And I am absolutely exhausted. A lot of the guys who follow me regularly, I was taking care of a celebrity golfer recently, and I was out on the what do they call the golfing course? I don't know, the pitch, whatever you want to call it, right? Walking the whole course with him, taking care of him during some big golfing tournament, and then I had to rush back and get the auction going. Yes, on that day, I think I wish I didn't have to do it, only because I'm bloody exhausted, not because I don't love it and enjoy it, because I absolutely do. And we've built up a community in the auctions where it is totally friendly and decent. I don't put up with any crap in the way of being rude to people or putting people down. I knock it on the head straight away. And that's the way that auction is, so clean and so nice. And the guys in there are so helpful to each other, even to new people who join. I absolutely love it. So the auctions, no, I've never really felt like I'm going to give this up, though I have felt on occasion like, oh, I wish I didn't have to do it tonight. And yes, the creating, I have several times thought, I've had enough, I'm not doing it. But persevere.
Once again, fantastic advice, and thank you for sharing that. Another brilliant answer, mate. I think certainly on the content creation side, I think a lot of people that have been doing it for a while, this is probably very relatable for you, what Cobra's just said. It can be a lot. I think so many people have said, you said it before, Cobra, your honeymoon, you had over 3 hours of footage, if not more. And you spend so long, on top of everything you do with your auction, busy life, relationships, commitments, running another business. And then the content side, you've got to turn 3 hours of footage into like less than 15 minutes to make a video, which takes so long. And it can sometimes, it can be tiring. And I think the way that you've just talked about that and the advice you've given, I wouldn't even try and put my own stance, because you've hit the nail on the head. Perfect answer. And a few people said to me when I started, because I'm new to content creation. I think I've got about, including the shorts, but I've got over 80 videos now since April. I've been working hard, but very similar to you. Even though sometimes I can put a lot in, it can be exhausting on top of work and other things. I do it because I enjoy it. And this slot that I've got the opportunity to have on a Sunday, it relates to what you said exactly about on the Fridays. I get a buzz from having the chance for an hour or so each Sunday to bring the community together, to engage, have a good chat, and it's all good vibes. Very similar to you, and I absolutely love that I've got this opportunity to do that. So it's a very special community, and like you said, mate, everyone's so helpful. If you're working away running your auction, you've got enough to worry about there. You can't pick up on hundreds of comments coming through. If somebody asks a question or they're unsure, how do I sign up to Cobra's Vault? Where's this? Or any of these questions. I see so many people answering those questions instantly. So helpful. Always jump in to help on your comments.
Amazing, bruv. They are absolutely amazing. They help me so much, and they help the people trying to come in. And they will jump in and answer for me. And you're right, I can't read all the comments. There's so many. And so, I try and address everything, but the guys help me in there so much. And I couldn't do it without them, and that's the truth.
Yeah, it's 100%, mate. And once again, credit to this community, which majority of people Stacker Social. Fantastic place, and I'm honoured to be a part of it. I've got 2 more questions, Cobra, one of which is another more serious question, and the last one is so we can finish on a bit of a high. So last question, mate. You're obviously running your auctions. You do that every Friday. I believe it starts at 7 o'clock, is it, or 7:30?
7:30, yeah.
Yeah, 7:30, mate. Sorry. And that's on your YouTube channel, Cobrastacker. What are your thoughts, though, on the rise of YouTube and Whatnot auctions? Obviously, Whatnot is huge. It was massive in the US. It's recently come over to the UK. There's so many auctions in this space now. Do you think it's good for the hobby, or do you think it's potentially getting a bit saturated? What are your thoughts on that?
Look, for the hobby, it's good in the way of keeping prices at a certain level, and competition is always good for the customer because it makes sure that prices stay reasonable. Now, for me, I've never had a problem with my prices because I try and keep it as low as possible. I don't need to earn masses of money out of this. My security company gives me the money I need. But I think you have to be careful on certain things. With Whatnot, it's a great platform to buy or to sell if you watch what you're doing. I don't like the spinny wheel things. I don't like those sort of games. I think
No.
they're gambling, and I think a lot of people can lose money where they wouldn't have to, or pay a lot more money by doing them just to get that bit of silver or that bit of gold or whatever, but you end up paying more for it anyway. I don't believe they're the best things. I do think that Whatnot has great auctions. It is a great platform for sellers because of the way it keeps your inventory and does everything for you. I think their fees are a little bit high, and I've had direct conversations with them. I had a meeting with them in Berlin, discussing this and explaining, because the profit on gold and silver, especially gold, is so small. There's very little wiggle room.
Yeah.
And when they're charging up to 7% in commission, you've got no room. And if you buy gold and then the price of gold drops and you're trying to keep competitive with that and they're charging 7%, it's a killer. So, look, I don't feel any threat by anything like that in the way of it's coming too saturated for me or anything like that. I think that if people are doing auctions, work together. And I say it all the time, and people have this thing of, oh, well, he's more competition and blah, blah. It's not like that. If we work together, we can do things at different times, we can bring different products, we can all survive and all do well. If you start trying to make it a competition, I've seen the arguments that go on with some of the sellers. Oh, well, I was the first to bring in this, and now you're bringing it in and all that lot. And I think it's pathetic. It don't help anyone because everyone's going to do what they have to do. So don't argue with each other, work together, get the best prices out there that you can, but also make your money. Look, it's hard work, people. So you got to understand people have to make their money. It's not about just giving you the cheap. You know, you put a bit of silver up and spot has gone up to 26 and you're trying to sell, say, a bit of silver at 34 and they're going, well, can you do it at 30? No, if I could do it at 30, I'd be doing it at 30. You please feel free to go and try and import it from America at £30 an ounce. That would be amazing. So it's about the customer understanding the seller and the seller understanding the customer and the sellers understanding each other and working together. So I don't think it's too saturated. I think it's good for the community. It's good for the hobby to have decent amount of sellers. And I always say to everyone, buy from wherever you want. I'll often get really decent people going to me, oh, I'm really sorry, Cobra. I went and bought something over there. And I'm like, why are you sorry? If the price is better and you have a trusted seller there, by all means buy from him. I have no issue with that. But you know, really look around, get your good stuff, and make sure you trust the seller and enjoy it. And that's all there is to it, really.
Yeah. And credit to you, because not all sellers will think the same as what you've said, but I really do think that all sellers, if they collaborate a little bit and work together, it's a case where you'll all benefit. You really will.
Absolutely.
And we all know. I mean, look at the Royal Mint and some of the international mints as well. There's new releases every week. You can't pick them all up, but there's going to be times where you're advertising. A seller has picked up a bunch of the new stuff, right? And sellers are going to be selling it for the first time and stuff. That's great. It's not an issue. It's one of those things. I do think sellers should look to collaborate more, but either way, I know that the way you go about your work, you would absolutely work with other sellers, and it's great to see, mate, and very well explained as well. And the reason I asked that question is just because, once again, I do think there's a lot of sellers coming into the space through the means of what you do is through YouTube, which I like. I love the pace of your auctions. I love not just seeing the pieces. I love the way you run the auctions, your character, what you bring. I love the pyramid. I love the chat. It's very similar to TSC. It's not just about buying stuff. It's about the community and engaging. It's fun. Even if you're not buying loads of items, it's fun to be there. So yeah, a lot of the new sellers are on Whatnot, starting on there. And I do want to just touch on kind of, I don't know what you call them, but like the spin. Is it a randomizer spin to wheel? I do agree with you, Cobra. It is. Yeah. It is gambling, and sadly, you'll end up paying like £8 or something for a 1 ounce of not 1 ounce or 1 gram, silver Valcam stuff, and you've got to spin it 40 times before you get the the Silver Eagle or whatever, right? It's
Yeah.
really dangerous, and you should tread carefully with that because I think a lot of people sadly are jumping on that bandwagon, and it's not
Absolutely.
for me either. So be careful with that one.
Yep, I agree totally. Yeah, but otherwise, enjoy it and talk to different sellers. Look, keep an eye out for your little con merchants. You will get them. You get them on Facebook. You get them everywhere. You can't help it. So just be careful who you buy from. But once you find trusted sellers, you don't have to stick to one. But just make sure you're buying the right stuff and enjoying yourself. That's it.
Yeah, there's a fantastic marketplace right here in Stacker Social, and there's also a brilliant section called Sellers Feedback. So if you are looking to buy off people within the community who regularly sell stuff out of their own stacks or want to trade, you can look at the Sellers Feedback as well to see what other people have commented who have bought from those sellers. So do your research. There's loads of sellers out there, and be careful. But yeah, back to the questions. Cobra, I've got one last question. I've been waiting to ask you this. I sort of put this question together as a bit of a fun one, and I do just want to say thank you for answering all my questions. I've asked you loads, and your answers have been fantastic. I feel like I've got to know you just a bit more tonight, and it's been lovely being able to have this time to ask you questions. So thank you for the answers and for your time as well, mate. I know you're a busy guy, so. Yeah, last question, guys, before we move on to the chat. So, Cobra, if you woke up tomorrow and found a solid gold bar under your pillow, no explanation, no strings attached, what's the first thing you'd do with it?
All right. Now, when I saw this question, because you let me know what some of the questions were, just so I was prepared, I thought, hang on, there's a couple of questions I have to ask first to answer this question. Number one, how big is the gold bar?
Let's say, I did say it's fun. Let's say it's 10 ounce.
A 10 ounce gold bar.
Yeah. Someone just put
Okay.
25k in gold under your pillow.
All right. So it's a 10 ounce gold bar. Now, the second thing is, I thought, well, what do you mean? What am I going to do? Am I going to cuddle it? Am I going to sleep with it? Am I going to what? And then I thought, well, maybe he means, are you going to sell it or are you going to keep it? Or are you? Well, I'd be a hypocrite to say if I'd say that I'd sell it straight away. So I'd probably give it a big hug, a little kiss, and put it in my safe. All right. And I'd let it grow in value over time. So there you go. That's probably what I'd do. I wouldn't sell it straight away. I'd be over the moon. I wouldn't know what to say. I'd probably go whoop whoop. I was going to say I'd take it down and show Mrs. C straight away, but we all know Mrs. C would nick it off me, so that wouldn't be a good idea. So I'd
I don't
hide it
blame
in
her.
the safe, and I'd keep very quiet about it.
Can I just say, if that situation ever happens, it would be a great day. And I will also put myself out there and say, if I woke up and a 10 ounce, 24, 25 grand worth gold bar was under my pillow, I'd give it a cuddle as well, mate. So you're not the only one. Oh, brilliant answer. And what a great list of questions that you've answered with, such detailed answers. It's been a pleasure listening to all your answers, Cobra. So that is everything that I personally wanted to ask you. So thank you for going through all those questions. Guys in the chat, this is the time. So thank you for your patience. I hope you've enjoyed the questions I've asked. Now I'd like to move on to you guys, and this is the time where we'll look at the chat and see what people are saying. So I'm going to have a look. Let's see, Cobra. And feel free as well, Cobra, if you see something, pick it out. I'm just going to see.
The problem is, bruv, I can't see the chat. I don't know if you can tell me how I can see the chat, but I can't see the chat.
Well, I tell you what, it's at the bottom if you click the chat button. But if not, I'm happy to read out the questions for you.
I'll leave it to you, bro.
Yeah, because I can see one straight away. If I miss any, guys, I am sorry. But first question I can see is from Benson. So question. This is from Benson's Coins. So Cobra, what is your favorite silver collection? And what is your favorite gold piece if you could have any gold piece in the world? I think you've sort of answered this, but good question.
So silver collection, I would say probably the Dragon Bars. I absolutely love them. There's the gold ones there. You can see 4 of them on my screen there. but the silver ones I absolutely love. And the other one is the Kookaburras. I've got the whole set of the Kookaburras in silver, which I absolutely love. So those are my two favourite sets: the silver Dragon Bars and the silver Cooks. And gold, yes, I have already answered, the completer. I can't, it's been years of people asking me that question, and it's been years of the same answer. The completer coin is my favourite.
That's a good answer. Really good answer. Shiny Silver says, would you swap a gold coin for silver? I'm guessing that is right now, currently. Would you do that? I don't think you would.
So currently, it's actually it's the way round that is the better option, because if you sell it at the ratio that it's at the moment, as the ratio changes, you could then sell that silver for more, hopefully, and get more gold. So yes, if you were to, if I had pieces I was willing to sell, yes, I would sell them for silver at the moment, and then as the ratio changes in my favour towards gold, sell that silver and actually be able to pick up more gold. So it's understanding the ratios between silver and gold.
Yeah, well said. Well said. I recently considered trading silver for gold, and when I looked at the ratios, I was like, no, I'm doing this completely the wrong way around. I'll wait on that. So yeah, good answer, mate. There's a few questions that are quite humorous, Cobra. So I'm just the messenger. So I'm reading these out, mate. I'll let you know who's the culprit of these questions. So Sandy Millington wants to know, Cobra. Once again, I'm just the messenger. Okay. Sandy Millington says, what first attracted Mrs. Cobrastacker to you and your massive stack of silver and gold? Laugh face, a la Mrs. Merton.
Oh, that's brilliant. Now, I could be very crude in my answer, but I'm going to hold my head high in my gentlemanly ways, and I'm going to tell you it was my humour, my sense of humour. I can be a very funny man when I want to be, and we actually met at a castle. And I was working security on a night shift. She came down, sat with me in the car for 3 hours, and we laughed continuously for 3 hours. And so I can make her laugh. So there you go. I could come up with some other answers, but I'm going to stick with that.
No, that's a lovely that's a lovely answer though that you've chosen, and I think laughter in a relationship is one of, or if not the most important thing.
Most important. Yeah.
So that's a lovely answer, mate. You're gonna love this one. Nemo wants to know, Cobra, do you want to adopt him as a son?
Now, the thing is, I like Nemo. He's a good lad, but he's not the first to ask. And I've been asked, I would say, at least 6 times to adopt people. So I'm going to say no, Nemo, but it's not on a personal level. All right. I actually care for you as a son, but not that much. So I'm going to pass.
Oh, God, I can believe it that you've been asked a lot of times, mate. Well, brilliant answer, and I agree. Nemo is a top bloke, fantastic member of the community, and that's a brilliant question, Nemo. Thank you for that.
Great stuff.
GSH, who recently had a fantastic auction, this beautiful piece here, God of War, 5 kilos of brass. It's an absolute beauty. Is one of the 2 items I picked up. Thank you so much, GSH, for that. You're a very talented pourer, and I couldn't be happier. And I hope there's another GSH auction in Stacker Social in the near future. But, Cobra, GSH has a question for you, and he wants to know, Cobra, what is your favourite poured piece?
Oh, that's very interesting. Now, I'll tell you something, and I had this conversation with GSH once, and I said, personally, I'm not so much into poured stuff, and that's the truth, right? That's on a personal level, and everyone has different ways of thinking on this. But I have seen some beautiful poured stuff, and GSH is one of the people I've seen with some absolutely beautiful poured stuff. And because I haven't actually made a habit of buying a lot of poured stuff, I have to say the Cobra, I think it was a kilo and a bit piece that was bought from him, poured by him, and I think 365 and Silver Stag banded together and got it for me. Actually, let me just grab it 1 second.
No problem, mate. Just quickly, Nemo. I'm just gonna, Nemo. You know what your role is in about 5-10 minutes. I'm gonna just bring you into the call, just so you can set up in the background, mate. But yeah, Cobra, carry on, buddy.
Yep, this was poured by GSH and then given to me as a present, very kindly. And that has got to be my favourite poured piece.
Beautiful.
So it's gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. Love it. Thank you very much.
Yeah, lovely piece on show there. And good question as well, GSH. And once again, I'm so happy with this. I've got poured pieces from Silverpunk, which I absolutely love, and now
Yeah,
yourself as well. You guys are so talented. I know there's a lot of difficulty in what you do. It really is a skill. So thank you for the pieces you make. They are amazing, and I hope to pick up more as time goes on. So next question, Cobra. Rex, who wants to know, says, important question, Cobra. when was when was the last time Mrs. Cobra saw you with a clean shaven face?
well, only a few days ago. Oh, clean
There we
shaven.
go.
Oh, hang on. I was talking about, I thought he was saying, she never has. She never has. I've always had a beard in the time that I've known her. She's never, in fact, not many people have. I think from the age of 20 something, I always had my beard. And only once, when a barber made a mistake and chopped a bit too much off, did I have to shave the whole thing off. And luckily, my hair grows back very quickly. So within 2 days, 3 days, I could shape another billy goat out of it. So Mrs. C has never, ever seen me clean shaven.
I will add to that, Cobra. It's funny you say that. I've always pretty much had a beard as well, and in the time that I've been with Miss Stacking with Craven, but one time I had a bit too much to drink at a family barbecue, of all places, and I decided to get my beard shaven off randomly. I don't know why, but I did, and I can tell you one thing: Miss Stacking with Craven couldn't wait for it to go back, and thankfully, like
Yeah,
yourself, my beard, mate, it doesn't take long. Within a week, I could shape a nice beard again. But it wasn't a
yeah,
pleasant sight. And one thing I'm grateful for is that my beard it sort of hides the extra chin underneath, you know. So
yeah,
it's a cheat code.
yeah.
So
Mine
she's
does
much
the same,
happier
but
when
I'm
I've got
not
a
going to
beard.
admit that. Yeah, yeah,
Good
brilliant.
question, though. I definitely
I
want to
like
see
that.
some more questions here. I'm loving these. Are you happy to answer some more, Cobra?
Absolutely. I'm yours for whenever you need me to.
Well, I'd say we'll do. Obviously, you guys know. I'm gonna see a few more questions. I want to show you the giveaway bundle very shortly. So in 5-10 minutes, I'll do that, and we'll end on the race. It's going to be an emoji race. So we'll do that shortly, but we'll ask a few questions first because everyone's kindly putting in quite a few questions for you tonight, Cobra. So I want to try and get through
Amazing.
a few
Thank you.
more. So Teach 72, Cobra. Off topic. What would be your dream car or bike?
Ooh, okay. So I do own a Harley, and it is the most expensive production bike they ever produced. So I've already got them. That is a CVO trike, over 2 liters. I can't remember exactly now. So I love that, and that's my bike. Car, I've always, from a young age, wanted a Lamborghini, but unfortunately, at 6'4", I can't fit comfortably in one. So I would have had and would love to have a Lamborghini. Unfortunately, I can't fit in it. So there you go.
No, yeah, Harleys are lovely, by the way. I'm not
I
even
love
that
it.
much of a bike person. I'm more of a car person, but Harleys are beautiful. So that's a really nice
Yeah.
motor that you've got there, mate. I'm going to quick fire through a few. Robot Toaster, this is for you, mate, Cobra. So you said you've made mistakes and stocked things that flopped. What was the worst one? Interesting question.
Oh, that's a very interesting question. Wow. Oh, I'll tell you what it was. No, I mean, the thing is, I haven't put it up for sale, to tell the truth, that often, because I don't know. I don't have enough belief in it myself. Okay, so there is a product which is a 2 ounce disc, which then has I think 4 or 5 ounce ball on it, made from minerals, and it is the planets. So I have three of the planets, and each one I've got three of each. So I think there was Mars and Earth and something else, and there's a whole collection coming out of all of them. Now it is a beautiful piece, but the price is way too high. So, and again, this is off the top of my head, so please don't quote me on this. I bought them a while ago. I think they were about 300 each. And the actual silver content is 2 ounces, and then there's this mineral ball on top. Now, as a complete collection, I think it's going to be absolutely beautiful. But I haven't put them up for sale because I personally don't think they're worth that much money. And I may be wrong. They may be in the future, they'll go up in money or whatever. But I don't feel it's right to sell them. So I've just put them in stock and kept them. But they are beautiful, but it's just, it don't make sense to me. And if it don't make sense to me, how can I justify selling it to anyone else?
Yeah, 100%. I think certain pieces like that, they are beautiful, but it's more about finding the right purchaser. So it's maybe not something that's going to sell every day. If you're happy to store it, that day I'm sure will come. And potentially, like you say, if they're bringing out more or they're completing the collection, I haven't seen them before, mate, so my knowledge on them is not very much at all. But I imagine once there's a complete collection there and they get more traction, I think they'll that would be a better time to sell, maybe.
Yeah, I believe so, but I don't know whether I'll end up getting the whole collection because I don't know. I
Yeah.
mean, maybe it's just me. Maybe I'll put them on the next auction and just see what people think. I'll put the price that I can do cheapest and see what people think, but I don't know is my honest answer about it. And
You
then the
never
other
know,
thing
mate.
I've done a couple of times is ordered too many of a product, and so
Yeah.
I flood my own market with it. You know, I've got, say, about 100 followers, but back in the day when I only had 30, why was I ordering 50 of one piece? It didn't make sense. Do you know what I mean? And I've only got 30 buyers.
You never know, Cobra. There's a certain Ian Attenbury in here listening, and I think he likes to buy the odd piece or two, so he might be interested on the next auction.
Ian's a
I
good
believe, yeah, I believe Ian Attenbury today went to pick up his pieces from GSH from the auction. I think it was over 20 kilos of metal in paws that he went to pick up rather than having done. You know, I don't think the postman would have been happy about that delivery. Put it that way.
No. Brilliant.
But yeah, no, good stuff. Jamie Frost, all the way from Japan. Good to see you in here, mate.
Jamie.
I've got a lot of time for Jamie. Love what he does. But he's got a question for you, Cobra. And he says, Hey, Cobra, could you source a 1 kilo lunar bracket series 3 coin?
Yes.
There you go.
Probably. Which one?
Probably.
If
Is
they
that
produce
maybe something?
probably get it in the lunar freeze. I'm just looking at the side here. What have I got? I've got a 1 kilo. Here's a 1 kilo Year of the Dragon. But this is series 2, I believe. There it is. 2012. That's a 1 kilo lunar Year of the Dragon. So, Jamie, let me know which one it is you want, and I can probably get hold of it. It may take me a couple of weeks to find it, but I will find it.
Yeah, you're the contact, mate. I've got you trying to source me a coin at the moment as well, haven't I? In the background, something I'm interested in.
Yeah.
There we go. A man of contacts. I'm going to go for a few more, guys. We'll probably do the questions till 6:30. I'm loving the questions. Thank you for putting these questions to Cobra. And Cobra, thank you for answering. God knows how many questions are at now in
My
total, including
pleasure,
mine.
brother. Really.
This is
My
a special episode. It really is. Rex, sorry, I'm not going to read that comment. That's very mean towards Nemo. Right, Baron Vamsky has a question for you. So, Cobra, as having lots of items on display, do you have to lock them away every time after like a video? Also, having items on display, we were talking in Saturday Stack Chat about securing your stack. Should everyone hide all their stack away and not have anything out on show, or display only the cheaper items? Good question.
Very good question. Very, very, very good question. Look, this gold is not going to stay out here more than any minute is necessary, right? So it will be locked away. I'm very fortunate now that the security on the dockyard is 24-hour man security, cameras, alarms, building with security access points and everything. So I'm pretty much covered. But I will say one thing. It's very sad that some of the beautiful collectible pieces we have we have to lock away. Now, I think security comes first. As far as I'm concerned, look at the game I'm in as well with security. Security comes first. So yes, your valuable items you should lock away. But there are certain collectible items that you may want to display. And as long as it's not, thousands and thousands of pounds just sitting around in your house, easy to steal, then have a little bit out now and again and change it up every so often. So maybe have 2 or 3 pieces in a display cabinet or something like that if you want to. And then every so often swap them back into the safe and get another couple of pieces out so you can enjoy your stack a little bit. If you want, should I quickly show you a display I've got in the office at the moment?
Go for it, mate. 100%.
I'm going to move the camera now very quickly.
Yeah, of course.
There we go. So now I'm extremely lucky because of the security I've got. I can display a lot of my stuff. And I was talking to CPM about this, and I said it is so nice to be able to actually have my personal collection on display. It's really enjoyable to see it, and yeah, it's just great. So yeah, I get it. Security is more important than anything else. But in the same token, enjoying if you're collectibles, especially if you're just stacking and it's all Britannias, you don't really need to put that on display, do you? But if you've got collections and you want to see them, I would say put a little bit out at a time and keep the rest secure. And then every so often, swap it round, put something else out, and put the rest back in the safe.
Brilliant answer. And can I just say, Cobra, what a beautiful collection you have there. And I think you're absolutely right. I think we stack it, we keep it secure in a safe or anything. A lot of the time, yes, it's secure, but sadly we don't get to visually enjoy our stack every day. So the fact that you've got the security and you can appreciate it when you're in your, in your office space, that's lovely. And yeah, I'm just enjoying seeing all of this, all these lovely cabinets full of treasures.
Yeah, exactly what I said to CPM. It's absolutely amazing to be able to enjoy it, whereas normally, it will be just stuck in a safe. But look, I will say again, security comes first. So he's absolutely right. Yep, secure your stuff. But if you can have the occasional thing that you can put out, go for it and swap it round. Enjoy this hobby and what you're doing.
Really well said, mate. Brilliant answer. Thanks for showing us that as well. I enjoyed seeing that personally. There's a couple of funny comments here, Cobra. I'd love if you could actually visually see the chat. I don't know if you knew how to do it.
I don't. This is
On
my
your
trouble.
screen
I'm
right
not
now.
techie minded. Eh?
No, on your screen right now, can you see the 3 of us that are sort of on the stage? Then you can see below the audience. And at the bottom, you see just to the left of the red exit button, there's like a chat button.
Yeah.
Can you see that? If you click on
Yes.
that, what I want you to do is scroll down on the chat. It's a comment from Nerd. I've got a question from Benson I will ask, which is funny. But I can't do this question from Nerd justice unless you see the meme that the picture he's put on there as well. Because what Nerd has said, basically, mate, is Cobra, do you need a hand with your Christmas decorating in your new office this year? And I just... Can you see the picture?
I can't see the picture. I've got onto the messages, but I've got Will's Bullion saying, wow, impressive. That's where it goes to. Is it before that?
There's so there. Do you know what, guys? Thank you so much for all these comments. There's so many. It might be further up from that.
Oh, I've just seen the photo.
Honestly,
Oh my God.
if you scroll around, you won't miss it. You'll know which one it is. That's Nerd
I've
offering
just
to you.
found it. Do you need a hand with your Christmas decorations in your new office? No, thank you. I don't. No, I'm really good. Yeah, thanks, bro.
Yeah, sorry, mate. You had to see that. You had to.
Oh my God.
A couple of quick fire ones. Thank you for that, Nerd. That's brilliant. Benson Coyens wants to know, Cobra, can I have a job? Minimum wage or silver payment will do.
Who asked that one?
Benson's Coyens. Really have a lot of time for him. Great guy.
The thing is, I have to upscale. I need to get someone to work in here now. I actually do. It's getting to a point where I can't keep up with it all. And so, yeah, I will be employing someone at some point.
There we go. There we go. Keep your eyes peeled, guys. Right, I feel guilty because I didn't. I was going through. I didn't realize how many more questions had come through. Should we pick? How many more should we do before we move on to the giveaway, Cobra? You let me know because it's your time.
Whatever
mate.
you like, bruv. As I said, I've made my evening free, so you can go for as long as you want. So you decide what you can do, and I'll go with you.
You're an absolute gentleman, mate. Thank you so much. And I'm enjoying your answers, but more so, there's so many questions tonight. I think everyone else is loving your answers just as much as me, mate. There's so many questions for you, Cobra. I want to. I'm looking through people that haven't asked one already. I'm trying to give you the chance to ask yours. So, Tridell, all the way from Germany. Good to see you in here, buddy. Question for Cobra. High gold with 23 carat is common in Thailand because it contains 0.965 gold. The jewellery and bars are somewhat softer. Did you happen to see this on your honeymoon and wonder why it was 23 carat and not 22 or 24 carat? Maybe there was a funny anecdote.
So, like in India, like if you look at, hang on, let me get back to the screens. So in India, he's correct. Like this bangle here is 10 ounces of 22 carat. And then in the UK, we go up to 18 carat. In America, a lot of theirs is 10 carat and 14 carat. And it just so happens that in Thailand, it's 23 carat. And I did see some there. And I did think that. Similar to Dubai with certain things and gold jewelry. Look, the content of, or taking the carats away on gold jewelry is done for the strength of the jewelry. So we do a lot of ours in 22. Some of it can be soft, and so we notice with some of our rings that they can split, and we have to get them redone. When you go to very fine chains, you'll find that the Turkish will do it in 21 carat. Again, for the strength. The Thais do some beautiful jewelry, and it is 23 carat. So, yeah, I did see some out there. It was absolutely beautiful. But I think different countries just have their ways. And if they've got the skills to manipulate 23 carat into jewelry, which is strong enough to last, fair play.
Yeah, that's it. And it's interesting because I, before that comment from Tridell and you speaking, Cobra, I didn't know that about Thailand. I just, new stacker, I just thought 22, 24, that must be it in terms of carats for gold, or at least at the top end. So, yeah, that's interesting. Another question from Silver Machine. Cobra, do you think making certain items low mintage is sometimes a bit of a ploy to put the prices up?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Look, they do it for a reason and they're very clever. One of the first ones to do it was Pamp with gold. And a lot of their items they'd bring out with a low mintage. Now you've also had Perth Mint do it. You've had even the Raw Mint jump on it. We saw that with our 5 gram bar, 5 gram gold Queen's Beast bar. Hang on, I'm just grabbing one. There you go, that one there. And we saw a 1,500 mintage on that. So a lot of people are jumping on the bandwagon. Now, you can either say, look, it's a ploy for us to buy more, or you can look at it as I do, and that's about collectors. So stackers and collectors. Stackers are going to buy the cheapest gold they can. It doesn't matter what it looks like, and they're going to keep it safe in their safe just for the investment value and for the value to go up. Whereas a collector will buy low mintage because, look, I'm one of the only people out of 1,500 people who has got one of those 5 gram gold completers. And so there's that little buzz of, I've managed to get hold of something which is very rare or rarer to get than normal gold. And so, look, you can look at it as a ploy, which in a way I understand what you're saying, and yes, to a certain extent, but also you can look at, what are you doing? Are you stacking or are you collecting? And if you're collecting, you're going to want those pieces. I definitely do. I grab a load of stuff which is low mintage because I absolutely love it, and I'll be one of the few people to have it. So, yeah, look at what you think about it and understand it, and then decide whether you can afford to do it. And that is always what I say. By your affordability, don't do it just for the sake of doing it. If you can do it and you want to do it and you can afford to do it, go for it.
100%. I think some people are more collectors. I think some people are more stackers and prefer to pick up weight at the best value they can. Some people on their journey are a mix of both. I would say I fit into the middle. And whatever you prefer, you said it before, Cobra, if you like the design, if you like the piece, it's a hobby as well as an investment, remember. Buy it because you like it. And that's all you need to know. As long as you're happy, that's it. It's your stack. Doesn't matter what other people are buying. Buy it because you like it. I'm going to read this. Cobra Nemo says, Cobra Stacker, I think you should reconsider adopting me as a son.
Nemo, I don't think we should do this. This is a very life-changing moment for you if I do this. And I don't think this should be done in public. We'll have a private conversation about it, bruv. All right? And we'll go from there. Okay? Let's just leave it at that, son. I'm calling you son. But officially adopting you is a big move for me as well, all right? Let's think about it.
That's a beautiful moment.
Oh yeah, Nemo, that's brilliant, mate. It is. I just want to say, GSH says, have a great afternoon / evening, Craven, Cobra, and all. Thank you so much for joining in, GSH.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate you, man.
Okay, right. Well, we've got a few more before we move on to the giveaway. Right, let's have a look. Thank you to. There's so many comments tonight, guys. Thank you so much. Everyone's really lively. I think that's. I can't see any more, and I think that's a good time to move on. So what I will say is thank you for all the questions for Cobra, and Cobra once again. Thank you for asking them. And this is a good time, Nemo. I want you don't feel you have to have your mic on mute, mate. You're doing me a massive favour tonight. Feel free to join in, mate, from now because you're doing me a big favour. We are going to be doing the giveaway, and that's going to be through a race. And the race is actually going to be an emoji race of all races. Cobra's choice, isn't that right, Cobra?
That's right. I was given a few choices by Nemo, so I appreciate that. I went for the emoji one because I don't even know all the emojis, so it'll be quite fun to see a load, and I don't know, I might make up names of what they are at certain points.
I can't wait to see what they are. Guys, first of all, I want to show you what's in my weekly giveaway for this show, and it's a very special one, and I can't take credit for most of it because it's the amazing people within this fantastic community that continue to help me out massively with just donations to give away, and you have no idea how much that means to me because I'm in no position, as much as I love giving away what I can, I'm in no position to give you loads. I try my best, but this is mostly from you guys helping me out. So thank you. You'll see a few of those individuals just now. So what I'm going to do is show you what you can win. And as you know, this will all be packaged. It'll be in a nice shiny black Jiffy bag, but it will all be bundled up in this lovely Cardiff Gold zippy bag, which is really good. And that will come with a Cardiff Gold pen. Arguably the best pen in the world. Let me tell you, these buggers are robust. They really are. Right, poker chips. I know Nemo likes his poker chips, and I know a lot of you guys do. So, where are we? Here. So, of course, there is a Stacker Social poker chip up for grabs. There is also, don't know who this guy is, there's a Stacking with Craven poker chip up for grabs. 365 Days of Silver poker chip is in the bundle. Now, this one does say Stacker Social, but this is actually from the one and only, get this the right way, Ian Attenbury, who's very kindly donated this to the giveaway and something else as well. If you haven't seen my latest or one of my latest YouTube videos, you won't know what that is. If you have, you will. There's more to come from Ian Attenbury. Thank you so much, mate. So his poker chip's in there. And lastly, as you know, I'm one of the exclusive distributors of these, thanks to 365 sending me these. There's the Stackamon Pokemon poker chip. These are so cool. They really are. So you get one of these as well. So in total, guys, just in poker chips, you're going to get 5. So that's really nice. So I have personally chucked in, it's not much, but I've also chucked in a South African half crown, and this one is 1952. So if you like your pre-decimal or your numismatics, this is a nice piece for any collector. If you're doing your date runs, it's really nice. So that is in there from me as well. There is also a 1 ounce copper round. This particular one, really nice. It's a Morgan dollar type style design. 1 ounce copper round, Really nice. So that's in there. There's still more, guys. It's a big bundle. I did say it's a nice bundle. So your Hordian, one of the legends from this community. There's 2 1-gram silver bars in here with his business card on there as well. So that is in the bundle as well. Very kind to y'all 4. You're going to get 2 Stacker Social stickers. Big one. And of course, it's little brother right there. You'll get them. There is also a 365. Oh, where's the way? There we go. 365 Days of Silver business card. And CL4 Hordians. I love this, by the way. What a great design. CL4 Hordians sticker with his YouTube QR code on the back. And lastly, I did say that Ian Attenbury, very generous person, has put in something else. And that is, guys, I don't know if you can see, it's very small. Sorry if it's a bit blurry. It's a 1/10 ounce silver Britannia. All of that is in the bundle that you can win from me. And, well, Cobra, is there something that you're chucking in tonight?
There is, bruv, of course. And to say thank you to everyone who's joined us, and thank you to Craven as well, I'm going to chuck in a 1 ounce quarter Queen's Beast bar. And I'm going to chuck in a 1 ounce silver Una and the Lion bar.
Wow.
And also one of my metal Cobrastacker poker chip type things. Medals, poker chip, whatever you want to call it. So that will be in there as well. Yep.
That's I don't even know what to say, mate. That's guys in the chat. If you want to pop a message now to say thank you to Cobra, that's just incredibly generous. What a giveaway! I mean, there's a big bundle here. If you love all your community chips and everything else, a few bits of metal in there as well. But there's 2 ounces there donated by Cobra, which is in this giveaway. So that's fantastic. What a giveaway we have. So Cobra, from I'm sure everyone's saying it right now, but from myself, thank you so much. That really means a lot.
Pleasure. Absolute pleasure.
So on that note, guys, it is 6:45. We are near the end, but we can't end until we have a winner of this giveaway. Nemo, are we at a point where we could move to the race? How are you getting on, buddy?
Yeah, absolutely, brother. I've got names in the list and ready to go. So I just need to know, Craven, are you going to be in your own bundle?
No. I'm not. I'm not in any of these, mate. I'm not in any of these. But thank you. But make sure you put yourself in there, mate. Make sure you go in there.
No worries at all, my friend. Righty. So I would like someone to let me know how long this race is running for. I think it's only fair to ask the man himself, the legend that is Cobrastacker. How long were you running this for, my friend?
Let's go for 1.5 minutes.
1.5 minutes, right? And there we go. And
Nemo,
yes.
are you able to share your screen?
Yep, I'm just sharing now, my friend. There we go. And
just quickly, for anyone that's on your mobile phone, if you double tap on Nemo's screen or through this, there might even be a full screen option because he's sharing screen. You will be able to get a full screen image of this race so you can see what's going on. It's much easier to do it that way. So I can see now, Cobra. Can you see on your screen the race starting to form?
Yeah, I'm good.
I'm just making that full screen here as well. So we're going with 1.5 minutes, are we, guys?
Yep.
Sounds good. Right, first person in the chat to let me know how many shuffles. Right, the first one I've got here is jumping into silver with 3. Let's do that. 1.
Okay.
2.
Shuffles.
And 3.
Cobra, is your racing commentary ready? I think we can all chip in because it gets so exciting. But I think these races are crazy.
I'll give it a good go. As I say, I don't know all the emojis, so you might get some really weird stuff come out of my mouth. But I'll give it a good go for you.
Right, and I think we just need a countdown.
There's only one man for the job.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, 3, 2, 1, go. And we're off. There's a little balloon, number 1. And Blue's in the lead there with some weird little kissy thing he's doing. Ian Attenbury's right up there as well, and Hordian's there as well. X20, I can see his name. Jamie Frost, he's in there from Australia or Japan. Sorry, got it wrong there. Calc, I can see loads of little names there. Baron Vansky, I see him like his little names just moving through the crowd there. He's moving up there. He looks like he's got a cloud on his head. I don't know what that is. And they really move a little bit weird.
Yeah.
M1 3AT. M1 3AT. He's looking a bit sad. I don't think he's going to last. BB-8's coming up. He's been blushing. He's been talking to another little woman out there somewhere. Jack Stacks is falling back. I can see his name in there. And Gandalf Starman, I think. Someone's being sick. So I think it's GC Stacks. He's not feeling very well. He's at the front, but he ain't going to make it. Then you've got Googly Eyes coming up there. I don't know who that is. He can't see where he's going, so he might go in the other lane. Looks like it froze for a little bit there, but we still have 27 seconds. Self-4 Hordian's coming up now. He's blowing kisses at people as he comes up. I think he is, or he's just looking a bit weird. But yeah, he's coming out there. He's blowing a little kiss to everyone as he passes him. Will he last? I mean, we've got 10 seconds left. It normally all changes around here. KMPSTRE, whatever his name is, Kempster. He's coming up, but he's crying. I think he hurt himself, tripped over a little bit back in the start, but he's going to win it. He's got it.
Wow. Massive congratulations. That is Kempster. Wow. Congratulations, my friend. Brilliant commentary, by the way. I had so much fun watching and listening to that, Cobra. You did a great job. That was so much fun. I mean, wow. Kempster, congratulations, mate. What an awesome bundle. If you drop me a message, I will get that all sent to you. I don't know how you want to do it with the ounces, Cobra, if you want to send them to me or if you want to sort that separately. I don't know what's easier for posting.
I'm happy either way. I think I've got Kempster's details, but if we can just get confirmation on that, because he's not under that name on my YouTube auction. So if it's the same person, I'm happy to send it out, or I can send it all to you. We'll work it out, no problem at all.
Okay, perfect stuff. No, that's absolutely fine, mate. And once again, thank you so much. There's in this that you've won, Camp. So you may have just seen Cobra's put in 2 ounces of silver for you. His Cobra round, which is made of metal. It's so unique. I love it. And everything that I've shown, 5 poker chips, God knows how many stickers, coins, a bit of silver off Ian Attenbury, a copper round. Yeah, it's everything. What an amazing bundle. And also, as always, thank you to everyone that joined. And you know, right now we are going to wrap things up shortly, but what a stream. There's 38 of you in here right now. And thank you so much. I've really enjoyed this one. Thank you, Cobra. Thank you, Nemo. I had so much fun. I really did.
I have as well, but I want to ask you something very quickly, bruv. Now, you mentioned something to me earlier. You turned around and said, sometimes when there's like giveaways and all that lot, and I can't get involved because obviously I'm doing the show, you know, I think, I wish I could get that. Did you ever get a Queen's Beast bar yourself?
I bought 2 off you, mate. Yeah, I've actually got 3. I've got one from the Royal. Well, I don't know if I got it from the Royal Mint, but it's in the assay card as if it was. And I picked up 2 from you when you were doing them at a wonderful price at the time. So I have got them, yeah.
All right. Well, I had it here. I was going to give you one in the assay card as a little present, right? To say thank you for having me on and all that lot. But seeing that you already have that, I'm going to give you a 2.5 ounce sword as a little present to say thank you for having me on, and I've really enjoyed it. So that'll be winging its way to you, bruv.
Are you serious?
Yep, 100%. I love what you're doing. It's great to have someone new in the community putting so much effort in, brother. And so, look, you're doing all this for everyone, and you make sure there's giveaways and all that lot. This is a little thank you from me and from everyone to you for what you're doing.
I don't know what to say. I'm actually speechless, mate. Cobra. I'm gonna get emotional here, mate. Thank you. Sorry, I don't know how to react to that. Look, thank you, mate. It's wow. What a piece! You know what? On your auction, mate, that's the piece that I said to you. I really want, but it's out of my budget.
Well, now you've got it, bro.
Oh, Oh, guys, wow. Okay, that. Thank you, mate. I don't know how to react. I'm honestly over the moon. That shocked me. That's taken me back. Wow. I I have enjoyed this episode so much. You have been, Cobra, an unbelievable special guest. I think in everything that you do, through your content, through your auctions, through what you've come on here and given, you have such a fantastic energy about you. I hope to learn lots from what you do. You know, you mentioned I work hard. I tell you one thing, I do try. I don't work anywhere near as hard as you. I wish you nothing but continued success with what you do. I can't wait for every Friday because of you. And yeah, just thank you, mate, for being who you are, and don't change. You know, and to everyone in here that's joined this evening, as always, guys, genuinely thank you. It's a pleasure to share an hour or two. This one went on a bit longer, but well, it was just so much fun. Time flies when you're having fun, right? But yeah, the message to you all: thank you for joining me. And yeah, I'd like to say to both you guys, Nemo, for your contribution as well. You in the background, you're doing so much to help because I don't have the tech set up yet. So thank you to you, mate. Absolute legend. But to both of you, do you have any? I'm still taken back by what you've done there, Cobra. Sorry. Do you
No,
have any final
thank you.
words? Do you have any
Um,
final words?
Well, from my side, I'm going to do one little thing and then say a quick something. So the first thing is, for any of you who know about the trading coins, I'm picking up the new Art of DC comics tomorrow, and I'm going to check with Stack Collector what time he does his auction, and then after that, I'll be doing the live opening, which we always have a load of fun. So it'll either be tomorrow night or it'll be Tuesday night, and I'll be opening up probably around 15 of those boxes and seeing what we get. And we have a great time on those live openings. And the second thing is, guys, I just want to remind you all, please, please, please take care of each other, right? Look out for each other, give the right advice, be good to each other, and let's just build the community further, happier, better than what it is already. And it's already great.
Really, really beautiful words there, mate. Thank you. What a good message to end on. Nemo, do you have any words, mate?
I'm still in awe about the generosity in this community. I think it's absolutely amazing. And I mean, Cobra, I can see why people flock towards you, my friend. You're just an absolute gentleman. That's I've got a lot of time for you, my brother. I enjoyed watching your video in Thailand. It's never made me want to go to Thailand more in my life, but yeah, you just keep what you're doing, my friend. I really think you are a fantastic motivational speaker, my friend. You should seriously do this more often. I would watch it all day long.
You're an absolute gent. Thank you so much for that. I appreciate it, brother.
And don't worry, the adoption papers are in the mail, mate. Just get them back to me whenever you can. Cheers.
Oh, God. Nemo, you're not going to let that one drop, are you, mate?
Listen, verbal contract. Everybody heard it. I've got 36 witnesses here.
I think what happened, Nemo, he respectfully declined, but he called you son to make you happy.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, Nemo is very kindly, guys, responsible for recording this because I've not been able to. I've had audio issues, but I hope you don't edit this so that section's tweaked so that it says, you know, Cobra's answer is yeah, no, absolutely. I hope you don't do any AI tweaks on this, mate. That'll be naughty.
I've no idea how to use AI. What's an AI?
Don't lie. Well, I will say, when I come off this, I probably will take a moment to take in the generosity of you, Cobra, because I lost composure a bit there. So when I come off, I'll probably take in what you've actually just done. But yeah, as far as words go, mate, just what more can I say? Thank you so much, and once again to everyone that joined, thank you. Next week, on Sunday, we go live again at 5, and it's going to be a 4-way panel. So I want to let you know who's joining me next week. It's going to be another special episode. I can see people in the audience now who are going to be involved. The special guest for next week is going to be Jumping into Silver. And joining us on the panel as well will be CL4 Hordian and Benson's Coins. So I can't wait for that. And just a heads up, the giveaway tonight Wow. But there is going to be another juicy giveaway next week. And I can tell you one thing. Jumping into Silver for his episode has donated a 1 ounce. It's one of the Germanium Mint 1 ounce cast silver bars. They are beautiful. So there will be at least that and a little bit more as well that you have a chance to win. So yeah, I look forward to that. And I hope to see you all next week. And the last question for you, Cobra. You know who next week's guest is. It's Jumping into Silver. I obviously take a bit of inspiration from Diary of a CEO, Stephen Bartlett. He always gets the guests to leave a question for next week's guest. So, do you have a question which I can ask Jumping next week? Can be anything you want.
Absolutely. So the question is, if you could be any animal for a day, what would you be and why? And how do you think that animal reflects aspects of your values?
Oh, no, I know what Nemo's doing.
What's he doing?
He's used a bit of AI. He's got a cobra with a little animated Nemo on its back with a sign saying...
I've just seen it. That is wicked.
Oh,
that is
Nemo.
absolute class.
Oh, that needs to be a poker chip or something. Brilliant stuff, mate. Yeah, Cobra, brilliant question. Jump in, you've heard it there, mate. So you'll have a week to think about it, and I'll ask you that question next week. So on that note, guys, we're going to round this off at 7 o'clock. Thank you, Cobra. Thank you, Nemo. Thank you to everyone that joined. And once again, congratulations, Kempster. Send me a message privately, and as well with Cobra, we will sort that out for you as soon as possible so you can get your excellent prize. And that's it for this episode. I hope to see you next week. Have a fantastic week, all of you. And on that note, thanks for joining. I will see you in the next one.